So your borderman NJ to the city reporting for the Jax Breeze on YouTube. So as I'm sitting here writing some music like I usually do and so on, I got some music industry thoughts on my mind. But actually, before I get to that, let me talk to you about the Super Bowl. So I pretty much watched like the first 30 minutes or so of the Super Bowl, and then I fell asleep. And then after falling asleep, it was within like 5-10 minutes of waking up that I finally found out who won and how they won. So I mean, congrats to the Chiefs. It seems like the way they won, I think, was in honorable fashion because it wasn't a complete offensive shootout like where the score was like in its 50s or something like that. But it still was an offensive game nonetheless, and so on. I think people say it was more of an offensive game in the second half than the first. But you get the point. You see the perspective, and so on and so on. I don't know how Eric Bieniemy isn't in line for a head coaching job with 2 Super Bowls with the Chiefs. He should have been in line for one with the Chiefs after just getting the first one, and so on. But I don't understand how why he would go from being an OC for one team to being OC for another. That's just what he wants to do. Other than that, he should be a head coach somewhere. You know what I mean? One Super Bowl totally already qualifies you, let alone going to the AFC Championship, over these years with Mahomes already qualifies you, and so on. He's now overqualified at this point, winning 2 Super Bowls. He's overqualified. He was certified after winning one, but now he's completely overqualified, winning two, if you were to ask me. I think the Cardinals don't have a head coach, so I don't know why they're not beating down his door with a young quarterback like Kyler Murray, who's very esque of a Lamar, very esque of a Patrick Mahomes, and so on and so on. So I mean, they definitely should knock on his door and try to get that deal done. Honestly, my personal perspective, and so on. He was already, he was already qualified, going deep into the playoffs with Mahomes in general. Then in my opinion, he was certified winning the first Super Bowl, let alone going to it. And now I think he's just overqualified. He should have a head coaching position. I don't, what's holding that up. If you don't give him one, it's because you don't want to win. Because it's very evident the guy's got the juice, he's got the sauce. So like, what's holding you back? Now going on to some music towards that perspective. I mean it when I say it's like I study Spotify numbers, I study YouTube numbers, I study numbers. Numbers, likes, trends, attention to detail, how long it takes you to get to 1 million views, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. I study a lot of stuff when it comes to arts, entertainment, music, career paths, and so on and so on. Marketing, promotion. I study it all. I study it all. And the biggest advice that I would give to any young artist of any age is that if you're relying off of just the music to get you where you want to be, then you're never going to be there. You need a machine, a marketing machine, or a music machine that's going to get you where you want to be. It's the machine that's going to push you and keep you on the world stage for however long you need to be on there or you want to be on there to promote said projects. You need a machine. That's what you need. So you vice versa can connect with whoever you don't meet in person, through the TV or through, whatever device that they're watching you from, and you can grow your fan base like that, grow everything like that. If you're just relying off the music to get you anywhere, it's not gonna get you anywhere. Dare I say, take that literally from me. I've been studying this for like the last decade, and I'm telling you, especially over the last couple of years, I'm literally listening to so many of the most underrated artists on Spotify all day long. That's literally what I do. I listen to some of the most underrated artists all day long who have not have not cracked the mainstream or they haven't cracked major mainstream, and so on. And it's very heartbreaking to know these artists haven't cracked anywhere near major mainstream when they make the same music, and I mean same music in terms of quality and detail, not in terms of discuss and fuss, depending on which artist that you're listening to. They make the same music, but yet they are literally nowhere close to those said artists in anything. Their numbers are, again, if not crumbs, well, actually they pretty much are. They're pretty much crumbs compared to a Drake and Ed Sheeran and Harry Styles, Dua Lipa, and Taylor Swift and a few other artists that I can name, if not 100 other artists. A lot of the artists that I listen to, their numbers are pretty much crumbs compared to those artists. They're nowhere near them. It's very evident in order to be consistently on the main stage of mainstream. One of the few things have to happen, especially musically. I think, especially in this sense, you have to always be dominating radio, streaming, and and whatever third category that is that I keep putting in there. But you definitely have those are definitely two or three that you always have to be dominating in order to be as consistently mainstream, as all artists strive to be, if not almost. You have to be always dominating radio, always dominating streaming, and whatever else the third one is that I was saying there. But those are the things you definitely have to be doing. If you're not dominating radio and streaming, then it makes sense why your career doesn't seem like it's ever going anywhere, or at least it doesn't seem like you're ever getting consistently bigger, and so on. I mean it when I tell you I'm listening to some of the most dopest, underrated artists you will ever find. And I'm like, how are these artists not bigger? Because it's not enough to just be put in this playlist. It's not enough to just get a few local radio plays here and there. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. For a few other things that that I can throw in there, they're not enough. If you want to be anywhere near as big as you believe that you can be, you're gonna need a machine to push you there. Because for me, I'm not saying that my ceiling is anywhere near a Drake, Harry Styles, Ed Sheeran, and so on, The Weeknd, and so on. I'm not saying that. But I know I am talented enough to be in that 30, 40 million monthly listeners bracket. That's what I know for a fact. If not a fact, I know for a dream and an opinion that I am more than talented enough to be at that 30, 40 million monthly listeners on Spotify, list. That's what I know I'm more than talented to do. And that's exactly what, again, over this next decade and so on, I will definitely be chasing. And if not decade, definitely over the next 3, 4 years and so on and so on. Because I don't think it's going to take a decade to do it if I do all the things right that I want to do. It's not going to take anywhere close to a decade. But it definitely takes money and funding. I'm going to just tell you that. But again, I look at my numbers all the time, people. I look at my numbers all the time. Look at everyone else's numbers all the time. I compare and contrast them all the time. Study everything so I can figure out again, what to do better on my end to get where I want, and vice versa. What these other artists can probably do on their ends. Not to say I know them personally, but what I would do if I was them. Because, for example, one of the most underrated artists that I've ever listened to is Tom MacDonald. Tom MacDonald is so anti-industry, I think it's hurting his career. Quote me on the last part or the whole part. Tom MacDonald is so anti-industry, I think he's hurting his own career. How do you, how do you think I came to that conclusion? Because Tom MacDonald is extremely good. So Tom, or any other Tom MacDonald fans, if you ever listen to this, Tom is an extremely good artist, if not extremely great artist. I have no idea how in God's holy name this dude only has 1 million monthly plays on Spotify. Not plays, listeners. I have no idea how he's so underrated. But he's such a great artist. But he's so anti-industry, I think that's hurting his career. Hurting his career how? Because I think all Tom MacDonald needs, the same thing I think a lot of other artists need, sign a marketing deal. At least that. I wish Tom MacDonald would sign a marketing deal. Because he is so underrated. And that's how a lot of these artists are. Just sign a dang marketing deal. Because you're so underrated. You're hurting your own career at this point by not signing a marketing deal. Think about it. You're so especially for Tom MacDonald. Listen to his music. His music needs and deserves to be played everywhere. His music, as they say, wakes people up. Wakes people up, empowers the people, and really gives you a sound education, dare I even say, on a few things. I mean, it's so beautiful. His music is so beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom MacDonald is one of the most underrated artists ever. But Tom MacDonald reminds me of an artist that is so anti-industry, he's holding his own career back. He needs to sign a marketing deal. That's what he needs to do. Because you're so underrated, that's why you need to sign a marketing deal. Because you're stuck at 1 million monthly, that's why you need to sign a marketing deal. Because I've looked at your YouTube numbers, and it takes you within 2-3 months. You've gotten 16 million on I think the Fighter song in 2-3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Guess what? Other artists get 16 million views in a matter of days, let alone weeks, and so on. The last example I can list there of looking at some of his older videos from 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago, they're stuck. I only have seen a Tom MacDonald music video get over 20 million views, and they've been out for 3-4 years. Cool in the last part, 3-4 years, and I don't think I've seen one of his videos get over 20 million views, and they've been out for 3-4 years. That's why you need to sign a marketing deal, because you're holding your own career back. You're super talented. Everyone needs to hear you. Everyone needs to wake up, buy you, and so on. You have such a powerful message and influence, but you're holding your own career back because you're so anti-industry and so on. You need to sign a marketing deal. And I advise all young artists out there, first and foremost, 1000%, hear me loud and clear. Other artists, if you can sign a marketing deal that doesn't sell out your values, do it. Because I'm telling you, that's the only way your career is ever going to reach those mainstream peaks that you want them to reach, unless you have other ways of marketing and promoting your music. Unless you have some other, main career, side career, whatever, and something else that can put a bigger spotlight on your music. Because other than that, just getting there off the music itself is never going to work. It's never going to work. You might go viral once or twice, but again, is that viral, a consistent fan base, or is it just people that heard one song by you, one clip by you? That's the problem that I'm getting at there for so many artists. Do you want to be stuck at 1 million monthly your whole career? I know I don't. Now, I'm nowhere near that, but I know that I wouldn't want to be that even if I was that. I know I'm talented enough to be in that 30, 40 million monthly range. I know I am. I think everyone else should believe they are too. And the way I promote some of the stuff that I promote in my music, I might get even bigger than that. But 30, 40 million monthly range is my goal. But I'm telling you, all other artists out there, don't be afraid to sign that marketing deal if you can do it without selling out your values. Telling you, don't hold your career back because you're so anti-industry. I'm telling you, no, don't do it. Because in that sense, you need to, I would say choose a different career or detach yourself from your music or do whatever. Because I'm just saying, when you're so talented, when your message is so great, I don't know how you hold your own career back. God's my judge and witness. How you hold your career back being so anti-industry and so on. Specifically in that sense of you need to sign a marketing deal. How you hold your career back because, God forbid, you refuse to even sign a marketing deal. You can't get there all on your own. You can't. And so on. And even if you can, like I say, it takes some salt and pepper. And so on. And I mean, again, I say all this in love and truth and transparency because I want everyone to be bigger, especially all these artists that I know are supremely underrated. I want them to be bigger, I want them to be better, I want them to be greater. But you're only going to get there, if you have the right formula, let alone formulas. And I'm telling you, part of that is if you can sign a marketing deal to get yourself bigger, sign one. Without selling out your values, sign one. Or get something else popping that's going to bring a bigger spotlight on your music because you deserve that. God bless you. Would have been injured to the city reporting for the Jackson Breeze on YouTube.